Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on Star Wars Battlefront 2004 game review. Now, as you know, Star Wars Battlefront from 2004 was a first-person and third-person shooter game that was developed by Pandemic Studios for the PS2, Xbox, as well as being developed by Beanox for the Mac. And the premise of Star Wars Battlefront is simple, where you're basically on the front lines, capturing command posts, dwindling your enemies' numbers, and so on. Now, pretty much you do have certain campaigns, one of which you have Galactic Conquest, where you can play as the Rebels, the CIS, the Empire, and the Republic, and you have a certain number of planets. And you can use certain items from the planets you control to either sabotage your enemies or give you a winning edge. And by conquering enough planets can give you a bonus, which, as the CIS, you can invade. The Empire, you can basically blow up a planet, and the Republic to sort of do a siege in that. And with the historical campaign, you mainly start off from the Trade Federation to the point of the Clone Wars on Kashyyyk, which was a much different alternative take, as Episode 3 wasn't released at the time. As well as you start off on another historical campaign with the Empire on Tatooine to the ending point of Episode 6 on the planet Endor, and so on. And the goal of the game is pretty much capturing command posts and controlling certain characters, like snipers, basically bazookamen, also pilots, and so on. And you can control other vehicles, like TIE fighters, speeders, also X-Wings, as well as Imperial Walkers and that. And there are certain levels where there are going to be death traps, which you'll need to avoid. Like on one section of Tatooine, you need to avoid the Sarlacc pit. And doing so will cause your numbers to deplete, and also on Cloud City, dealing with the carbon freezing chamber if you accidentally fall in. Also as well, you do have another function which act more like rivals, also on, like the Tusken Raiders, basically the Gungans, and so on. And pretty much I would say, unlike EA Star Wars, where you basically have to pay for DLCs, extra levels and that, it did show the creators did pay a lot more attention and knew they weren't charging anything, but giving you a certain kind of game you wanted. And what's actually interesting is there are a certain non-playable Jedi-like characters that help you in your sort of battle or when they deal with you personally, like Count Dooku in the CIS, Mace Windu in the Republic, Luke Skywalker for the Rebels, and Darth Vader for the Empire. And also as well is that, unlike Battlefront 2, this one doesn't really have any real space battles. The closest battles you are going to have is either on Cloud City, and so on. I would say, yeah, when you got the historical campaign, I think their version of what they had for the early ideas of Clone Wars sort of works. For example, Kamino, Renvar, and so much. I know the point with Kamino was a story that was used for their version of the Clone Wars story in the Dark Horse comics. And I would say, to me at least, the original Battlefront 2, the original Battlefront game, is the better one, because no DLCs, no extra levels, no loot crate. I think this was a time when Disney weren't too greedy, and back when Star Wars could actually do good games than a poor man's version. So I think it deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.